Hi, welcome to the channel. I just want to make this little intro video so that way you can kind of know more about me and the channel itself. As far as me, I'm a writer, I suppose a part-time writer and a full-time counselor. I have a private practice in the middle of Texas. Been seeing clients for over 10 years now. And about a few years ago, I just kind of got the writing bug. I can't really explain, well, I actually can't explain, it's just a longer story, but I decided I wanted to write a novel, and I didn't want to wait until I was, in my 60s in retirement. I wanted to do it now. And so I wrote my first novel, the Saga of the Scout, and I've had the writing bug ever since. I've always been a storyteller, going back to as far as I can remember. I used to tell myself stories. I used to make stories up with songs, played with all my little Star Wars figures. Then I got into Dungeons and Dragons. And for a long time, that was pretty much my only storytelling outlet. I tried to write every now and then, but to be honest, no one ever really encouraged me. And I'm of an age where back then, if you wanted to be a writer, then you had to get published, you had to find an agent, you had to send your manuscript out to folks. There was no such thing as self-publishing through Amazon or Kobo or any of these other online outlets, because there was no online. And so for me, writing always just felt like something kind of out of reach, and it just didn't seem like I was the kind of person to be a writer. And that kind of brings me to what I want the channel to be about, is I think of writing as more of a mental game than anything else, mental and emotional. It's not really physically challenging, although we do sit a lot, and writers are at risk of all the problems that come from just sitting around too much. But really, when I see a lot of people talking about writing and their challenges, this is all mental and emotional. Things like, do I have good ideas? Originality, being creative. Then there's the imposter syndrome. Who am I to call myself a writer? When writers are these, luminaries like Ernest Hemingway or John Steinbeck or something else along that lines. I just write silly little fantasy stories or sci-fi stories or whatever. I'm not really a writer. I'm not really creative. These sort of things. And that's why I kind of want to address a lot in this channel, is to talk a lot about the mental aspects of writing, how to deal with your own sort of demons, your own insecurities, your own sense of perfectionism, lack of focus, feeling like you're not good enough, these sort of things. If you kind of look through my channel history, you'll see I try to talk about a lot of these things. I think one of my most recent videos to date is about frustration and how to deal with being frustrated with the whole writing process. And so that's where I think my expertise as a counselor can be of a big benefit. I still consider myself a beginner writer. I don't think I'll ever really let go of that feeling, because there's so much to learn and so many new things to learn that I don't really think I'm going to ever make videos on like the writing craft, like the best ways to use pacing, because I'm still trying to figure out pacing. I do talk about discovery writing, because that's the sort of style of writing that I use, where you don't use a plot, you just kind of start with a sometimes very nebulous idea, maybe not even a true idea, maybe just a title or an opening scene, and just kind of writing into the dark, as Dean Wesley Smith puts it. I like to use discovery writing or maybe even intuitive writing, but you're just sort of discovering the story in much the same way that your readers will discover the story. And I like talking about that because in many ways, I think that epitomizes a lot of the writing process. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know where this is going. We try things. We're not really sure if they're working, or maybe we are sure that they're working and we feel like we need to start over, and then we wondered if we wasted our time. That's discovery writing, and that's also a very good metaphor for the whole writing process, especially if you're like me and you want to eventually become a full-time writer, where I barely see any clients, and I spend most of my week writing stories as opposed to seeing clients. Or if you want to quit your your day job, or you never even want to have a day job. You're in school and you want to go straight into being a self-published author. This process of just kind of feeling your way through the quagmire, if you will, I guess, of writing in this writing industry is just kind of very similar to the discovery writing process. And so I will talk about that. I have various videos on that because I think that also brings up a lot of the mental health aspects as well. I like to talk about some psychological concepts, especially as it pertains to writing. I have some plans of doing like one that talks more about what depression is and isn't, what anxiety is and isn't, mainly so that way if you're writing characters with these sort of issues, then you can kind of make it a little more realistic. But on the more fun side, I also have a series. It's called Is the Book Better?, where I read a story and I watch the movies and TV shows that are based upon that story, and then just sort of talk more about how do they compare. Is one better than the other? Is there some differences? Is there some significant differences? That sort of thing. And then, of course, I just do some various reviews of movies that I particularly liked or books that I particularly liked. I mainly like to stick to the independent realm because I really do think we're on the verge of another indie revolution. I think, and this I can't really back it up with any hardcore data. It's just a feeling I get when I watch people talk about various videos or things on YouTube. And I get the feeling that a lot of people are just really sick of corporate entertainment. And I mean, they're tired of the big blockbuster movies. They're tired of, one pop singer that sounds pretty much like any other pop singer. I think they're even sick of a lot of the books that people are putting out. That a lot of the same young adult tropes that are just rehashed over and over and over again. And I think a lot of people are kind of getting a little sick of that stuff. And so what I like to do is sort of highlight independent movies or authors that I think are really good and you should check out, especially if you like these sort of genres. I'm always open for new topics. I am but a humble farmer, and I only know a few topics. I try and come up with a video a week. I miss a few weeks. But yeah, if you have any ideas, some things you'd like to talk about, things that you'd like to learn more about, then just leave them in the comments of this video. It'll pop up. I'll see it, and I'll see if it's something I can put out. But anyway, if you want to see links to all my videos, or just check out my channel, and then down below in the description, I have links to my various books. Saga the Scout is a post-apocalyptic story with a sort of a science fantasy kind of fantasy pull to it. It's not zombies, and it's not EMPs, or pandemics. It's something else. I also have Memories in the City, which is sort of like a hard-boiled crime novel in the vein of like Mickey Spillane, but it's set in a gas lamp fantasy setting. So it's not set in New York in 1930s. It's set somewhere else in the city in another time. And then I have a slew of short stories as well. Yark the Scholar is sort of like a combination of Indiana Jones and Conan the Barbarian sort of world. So sword and sorcery, but with a little more of a mystery bent to it. And then I have Nadja the Witch Warrior. Right now there's only one story, only available through Sexy Fantastic, but I'm writing more. I think I'm actually on my 8th story. When I have 10, then we'll start talking about publishing that book. So kind of keep an eye out for that one. And then you can also go to my website, click on the link there, and that will let you join my newsletter. And then I just send out some other little tips and ideas through that. I don't hit your email that much, maybe once a month or so. But anyway, I hope to see you in future videos, and I will talk to you later.